We're about to read the Atlas Changes 3.10, which is apparently the map manifesto. Alright, let's see. We read the map stuff and I wasn't particularly pleased, and from what I've seen there was a lot of controversial feedback from Reddit regarding the changes as well. So now they're releasing this. Let's see what they've got in mind. The manifesto is a response is the response to the feedback we received about this news article from earlier this week. So if you guys missed it, I have it in my last video where we do talk about it and the some of the early reactions to it. Obviously there's a lot more, so it's not particularly in depth. In Conquerors of the Atlas, we dramatically and somewhat inadvertently increased the map drop rate through the following mechanism. Conqueror influence, adding a large amount of monsters and content to maps when spawned. Additional maps from Awakening levels, including Shaper and Elder Guardian maps. Synthesis unique maps dropped by bosses. Unique watchstones. Additional monsters spawned by high tier sextants. Yeah, but that's it's not really. Conquer maps being opened for free by Xana. Whoa, that's a weird one. The whole like being able to essentially spam that was a really weird one. I thought it wasn't intentional, but there was no real easy fix to it, so I guess they left it in. I remember having pretty extensive discussions about that. The map mod effect from Awakening levels applying to quantity and pack size modifiers. Yep. Blight Going Core. I don't feel like Blight Going Core was that impactful, but obviously it's a combination of all those things, totally. Even though we did remove Shaper and Elder Influence, the number of maps added was a lot higher than the amount we removed, for sure. I mean, also, they nerfed Shaper and Elder Influence map drops pretty substantially. I think they eventually, after nerfing it a couple times, I think they eventually buffed it up a little bit, but yeah. Players playing the league commented that Delve cities did not feel rewarding anymore. True, because in the past they were a great source of maps. I mean, they were a necessary source of maps, which I don't think I agree with that. As much as I like getting different rewards from different content, being essentially forced into running Delve due to its efficiency because of the map drops is pretty maybe upping the other drops I would have felt better about it, but I mean, that's just an SSF perspective. Similar comments were made about the Temple of Azuaro, which was also a good place to find maps in the past. It was a necessary place to find maps in the past. It was a necessary one. I wouldn't say that it was good, even if you built around it every time, which you had to in SSF. It was rather yikes. I'm agreeing with these things so far. In addition to the above changes that made maps a lot easier to find, our plan for 3.10 was already going to take it even further. Improved temple, improved vault site areas, metamorph going core. How does that improve it from the difference that you've made in metamorph? That makes it worse because it's 10%, you know, versus 100. Delirium being a high reward league if you take risks. See, this we don't really know much about, but I do think that it's going to be pretty high reward. In the past we had, I guess you could argue that we had 3 goals as well, like getting to the boss previously, which was map completion, where now it's Conqueror completion, and then you had 1 bonus, but you also had to fuck around with influence, which was something to do pretty much every time. Now you have the 2 different bonuses instead. I do like that, for there to be multiple goals for the Atlas itself. Playing through the Atlas in 3.10 will result in a flood of maps compared to pre-3.9. If you're worried about not being able to sustain maps easily, you needn't to be. It felt good in our testing so far, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on this. To be fair, GGG always wanted a lot less map drops than what the community expected out of them, and I for one agree, honestly, with that mentality. So I can totally see their argument, but it all seriously depends on what Delirium is. I do not like the master change because The thing that I dislike about it the most about the bonus is that, yes, it's 5% better once you've invested enough time to get the bonus, right? So you have to get over half and then you're getting the benefit, because they're going to make it 35 chance to get the master mission versus the 40 that is currently in the game, but you're going to be able to get 10%, right? So essentially you're going to get 5. But in reality, it's not how it works, because when you first start mapping, that's when you need the quests the most. That's when you run your maps the slowest. That's when you want to feel like you're having a sense of progression the fastest, and you have less of it. So I really don't like that ideology at all, because eventually you stop caring as much once you get done with all the goals, which I guess making it so that the goals take longer kind of makes sense. But still having issues transitioning into the new idea of completing maps whenever and doing whatever. So it's just a very different mentality. But essentially how I see it is that Delirium is where it all lands, because Metamorph was so impactful. And obviously Temple of Azuatl and the Vault side areas could be impactful too, but I can't imagine they're going to make it too big. So it's all down to Delirium versus Metamorph. But I would like to see less maps for sure, because the fact that you were able to sustain 16s by running blue maps didn't really make sense. But I also dislike how many maps you get from content that isn't a map. So it's a very thin line, you know. There's a lot of balanced stuff that they have to take into account here. It's very tricky. Target farming maps and Cartographer seals. So this is a really interesting one for me personally, because I would like to see a little bit more target farming, not gonna lie. A little bit more accessible target farming personally. I wouldn't mind that. There's a big topic that we're still discussing internally. Philosophically, we don't like the Cartographer seals go against the natural progression of your atlas. Oh, fuck. I thought that was a meme. Oh no. Okay, so Imperium posted on Reddit, on Twitter, something like saying that Cartographer seal go against the natural progression of your atlas is like saying regret orbs go against the natural progression of your build. And like, that's such a fucking easy comeback. I thought it was some sort of meme, but they actually posted this. Oh no. That's really unlucky, dude. I could not disagree with this more. What the fuck? Ideally, we prefer the things were designed in a way where uncompleting maps was unnecessary. Yeah, but that's like the opposite of what we have now and have had for like since the Atlas came out. Fuck. It was only ever a bad thing the way it was designed. Like, it would only ever fuck over people that weren't informed enough. Like, committing to your Atlas, I should say, without doing a lot of research prior to that, was always a very bad thing and very unrewarding. And it's been like that since the dawn of the Atlas. So as much as I understand their philosophy, I don't think they've ever managed to pull it off so far. We want players to earn map completion and bonus objectives and to feel good about having them. Cartographer seals work directly against this. What do you mean? That's not... They worked for it. Because they made all the right decisions so much more valuable. And the bad ones just would ruin you. I don't get how they don't get this, considering their mentality with unique items and all this sort of stuff. You have to have the bad to have the good. Like, it makes the good so much better to have the bad. Being able to, pretty costly, might I add, optimize that and modify it, it's a good thing. We have some ideas that we're discussing that should help on this front, and we'll let you know as they progress through internal testing. To be clear, our solution will not involve Cartographer seals coming back into the same form they were before. That's a terrible choice. Oh man, I was one of the people that defended GGG on this for like ever. Blah blah. No, I was fucking wrong, dude. They don't know. They're missing vital information. Like, it makes so much less sense to complete your atlas now than it did before, especially since they fucking fucked with that bonus too. Damn. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a simple fix either way, right? Because there's so many different ways of playing Path of Exile. I'm not saying that what they're necessarily doing is like right or wrong. I definitely personally disagree with their ideology. I don't objectively know even what's going to be better or worse for me. It's just that if they've had the same logic this whole time, they've never managed to actually accomplish their goal. And that's not necessarily due to the fact that everybody plays differently. It was just always better for every style of play, other than the people who just wanted to see the number go up on their completion. So it's like, man, what the fuck can you do? But yeah, it's not a simple fix at all, I don't think. Map mod effect, a separate goal in 310 for awakening objectives was desirable. As we discussed, map drops were in a all-time high, so we didn't want to add more map drops to awakening bow objectives. Our plan was to move the popular map mod effect increases to the awakening objectives in order to give them more of an incentive. What? That's the opposite for me of how it works. You're completely right that map mod effects isn't always positive for every build. Yeah. For example, it can ruin ignite builds by making it impossible for monsters to be ignited. While map mods are designed to hinder your character, the map mod effect can sometimes push it over a reasonable limit. Make adjustments to those cases. What the fuck? They even recognize that their logic is literally reversed. And they just say we're gonna do it anyway. They recognize that this is wrong. There's many other means to challenge your characters than fucking by smashing everybody to a pulp. You want to challenge your character, you go do Delve or some shit, dude. Oh man, I hate this. Again, this is really complicated. This is difficult. This is a hard fucking conversation. There are no obvious fixes for this, but this, I just don't see it.